Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Muhlisin Rasuki. Saya adalah dosen di program studi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Universitas Muhammadiyah, Jember. Untuk mata kuliah yang rutin saya ampu adalah Instructed Second Language Acquisition atau pemerolehan bahasa kedua atau bahasa asing dalam konteks pembelajaran. Untuk isi dari mata kuliah ini disusun berdasarkan JPL yang sudah ditetapkan di Prodi dan juga mempertimbangkan esensi dari kajian Instructed Second Language Acquisition. Pada umumnya, di pertemuan-pertemuan awal, saya menekankan tentang pemahaman terkait dengan berbagai macam teori yang ada dalam kajian Second Language Acquisition maupun Instructed Second Language Acquisition, dan bergerak pada pertemuan-pertemuan akhir, lebih menekankan terkait dengan relevansi apa yang sudah dibahas, pemahaman terkait dengan teori, dengan praktek pembelajaran yang ada di kelas. Untuk sampel video pembelajaran kali ini, saya berfokus pada topik yang ada dalam RPS, khususnya yang disebutkan dalam minggu ke-12. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, okay. So, hello everyone. We are going to start our lesson again. And today we are on week 12, right? But as usual, before we discuss about the topic for today, we are going to have some review of the materials of the topics that we already covered in the previous meetings. Okay. All right, okay, so let me first share the screen of the PPT that we are going to refer to for today's lesson. All right, okay. Okay, let me jump to the first slide. Okay, so today's topics is selecting second or foreign language teaching strategies based on learner characteristics. Okay, so we have two keywords here. The first keyword is second or foreign language teaching strategies, right? And the second one is learner characteristics. So we are going to discuss about the relationship between the two. And as usual, we are going to have discussions during the instructions, right? Where I will invite any one of you to share ideas, to discuss about certain topics of interest that we'll be discussing today. Okay, so hang on, two people are waiting to join. Okay, all right. Now let's continue. Come to the review questions. As I already mentioned before we discuss about the topic, now let's have first some review of the materials. Okay, as usual, I will read the questions and will give a chance to any one of you to share ideas or to give response based on the two options given here. All right, now question number one. According to input processing theory, learners tend to blah, blah, blah. A or B? Anyone?
May I try, sir?
Sure, yeah. Okay, Fadila, go ahead.
The answer is A, process meaning before grammatical form.
Yes, that is correct, right? Just like what we discussed in the first meetings, when we discuss about the theories of instructed second language acquisitions, input processing theory that is formulated by Bill Van Patterns, stipulates that learners tend to process meaning before grammatical form. And the implication of that processing is that learners usually do not really pay attention to grammatical form, right? Okay, they prioritize meaning. Okay, so now move on to question number 2. Thank you, Vadila. Next, the main goal of processing instruction, which is based on input processing theory, is to help learners blah, blah, blah. All right, anyone?
May I try, sir?
All right, Rivka. Yes. All right, okay.
The answer is B, process linguistic input more efficiently.
Okay, thank you. That is correct. Just like what I explained it to you briefly just now, because input processing theory stipulates that learners prioritize meaning before grammatical form. It makes them usually be able to communicate ungrammatically. They can express meaning, they can communicate that meaning without conventions, without grammatical conventions. And the main goal of processing instruction, which is based on input processing theory, is to help learners to get balance between meaning and forms so that learners are able to express ideas communicatively, but also grammatically. Okay. Next. Okay, so this is something different, quite different from input processing theory, but still talking about input. Number 3, input-based instruction primarily encourages learners to blah, blah, blah. So we have Fadila, we have Rifka now. Anyone else? How about you, Hilmi? Oh, sorry. Yeah, is that you? All right.
Yes. May I try?
Yes, okay.
Input-based instruction primarily encourage learners to memorize vocabulary list.
Memorize vocabulary lists. All right. You sure about that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so that is okay. Memorize vocabularies is not the priority of input-based instruction. Input-based instruction, again, based on the term, based on the name, it actually encourages learners to comprehend meaningful input. Right? So what do we mean by input? Perhaps one of you still remember what I mean by input here. But okay, just to really economize the time there to make the discussions more running. So input is actually a kind of model of language use that learners encounter during conversations or during reading, right? So it's actually kinds of the examples of how language is used, right? In the form of sentence or in the form of meaningful expressions. Okay, now let's go to question number 4. You may remember the discussions when we talk about interaction hypothesis. Okay, so which statement best reflects Long interaction hypothesis? Interaction hypothesis was first formulated by Michael Long. Okay, A or B? So perhaps let me jump to others. Okay, we have Cindy, we have Anissa, Fatina, Sabita, Raihan. Sabita, what do you think? Still remember? Oh,
Okay.
Anissa. Oh, all right. Okay, Sabita. Yes, okay.
Okay. I think the answer is A because statement best reflects Long's interaction hypothesis because learning improves their language through communications. So
All right. Yes.
during the interaction, I think the A is the best answer.
All right. Okay. So yes, you still remember the idea of the interaction hypothesis. As the name suggests, interaction itself facilitates language acquisition, right? In order to be able to be more skillful in using the language, so we really need to use it. And one way to use it in authentic situation is to use it within the context of interaction. Yes. Okay. That's good. Now, I'd like to give Okay, so we still have 2 more questions. Okay, pretty much, quite long, but this one is actually covering almost everything that we already covered before. Okay, now number 5, skill acquisition theory. If I remember correctly, we discussed about this theory in the 5th or 6th meetings. Yeah, okay. So a skill acquisition theory, which was formulated by Robert Kaiser, from the University of Maryland. Okay, according to skill acquisition theory, language learning develops through A or B. How about you? All right, okay, Asep.
I choose A, sir.
You choose A, practice that gradually becomes automatic. All right, yeah, that is correct. Yeah,
Yes.
skill acquisition theory. So based on what we discussed just now, okay, interaction hypothesis and skill acquisition theory, you may now conclude that actually all of the theories, or at least most of the theories of SLA, consider that practice through interaction and dialogue, or through using language in real communication context, facilitates learning and also processing. Yeah, so automaticity is like more related to processing. In order to be able to use it fluently, so we need to practice it. And one way to practice is the best way to practice it is to use it in authentic communications. Right, okay. Now, I see that Anissa is willing to answer for question number 6. All right. Sorry, you didn't have the chance for the previous ones. I know that you wanted to give some ideas. Now I will reserve this question number 6 for you. What is the main advantage of using TBLT, task-based activities? Sorry, I don't hear any words. Okay, so perhaps you are still having a trouble with your audio, or you are still muted, are you? Try again. Okay. All right. Okay. So they're still having a technical problem. I don't hear your voice. That is okay for now. I'm sure that you can still follow the discussions. All right, Anissa. Okay. What about you? Anyone? Cindy or Fatina or Ricky? Oh, Cindy. All right, Cindy. Cindy, A or
I
B?
think the answer is A. They allow the B. They engage
A or
learner.
B? Make your mind.
B.
You sure?
B.
All
Yes,
right.
I'm sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. What is B?
They engage learner in purposeful communication that reflect the actual demands of the real life target situation.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So you still remember perhaps when we talk about task-based language teaching, that is the approach, language teaching approach, which connects second language acquisition theory and the practice of language teaching, right? And in task-based language teaching, or TBLT, the purpose, the main goal of using TBLT is to be able to connect the instructional process in the classroom with authentic communication out there. Yes, to get learners use communication, to get learners use language for communicative purposes. Yes, okay. All right, so those are the questions for reviews. Now I have one more big question for today's discussion, right? Okay, and this discussion is based on the article that I already shared with you last week. I shared one of the articles by N.S. Prabhu, right? You still remember that? And the title of the article was published. It is an old article actually, but it's still relevant. The article was published by TESOL Quarterly, and the title of the article is "There is no best method." But something related to the article, but not totally. We are going to relate the discussions of the article with the current topic, right? With this topic. Now, the big question that I want any one of you to answer, right? Can one's teaching strategy work equally well for all language learners? This is a yes or no question. What do you think? Simple, yes or no. It's a binary actually. It's a binary question.
Yes.
Yes, who? Sorry. So who answered? All right, okay, Septian. Yes. But all right, okay. So why the answer, your response is yes. Do you have some rationale for that? Do you have some arguments? Septian? You said yes?
Okay. Yes, my answer is
Mm-hmm.
yes, sir.
Yes. Why? Why do you think one teaching strategy cannot work equally well for all learners?
Because all individually people has different capability in learning languages,
All right. Okay.
especially when the first learners, let's say, they want to learn new language, they have to deal with a big obstacle, like probably their native language or their mother language, for example.
All right. Okay. Oh, okay. That's quite clear. I like two keywords from your response. The first is individual learners, and the second one is difference. Yes. So in second language acquisition, the field of second language acquisition, there is a sub focus of study called individual differences. Yes. And we acknowledge that individual learners is different one from another, right? And then you may also have a look at the points that I already included in the PPT, like you may you can see that effective instruction depends largely on these points, right? From learner's age to classroom context. But if you look at these points, you will see that most of them, from point one to the second from the bottom, all of them are related to language learners, differences in terms of age, in terms of proficiency level, and so on and so forth, right? And only the last one is talking or related to classroom context. Okay, now when we discuss about learner differences, we usually consider key characteristics that makes them different. And this difference in terms of this characteristic usually determine language teaching strategy that can work well or better than other teaching strategies, right? Okay, so you cannot just apply one single strategy in teaching different learners. So that's the key message that you will get from these lessons, actually. Okay, now perhaps say, for example, in terms of age, right? In terms of age, we have young learners, we have young adult, we have adult, we have different age groups of learners. Okay, so consider that you have to teach the same materials, the same topic, or the same skills to different learners, right? To one group of learners who are young, say age 10 or 11, and other groups of learners who are much I don't know, much senior, like say for example university age level, like 20 or 19. Okay, so when you teach young learners, it will totally be different from teaching university level students, although what you teach in terms of the materials, in terms of the skills, in terms of the instructional objectives may be quite relevant. But the strategy, again, the strategy should be different because it should be tailored to the learner's differences. Okay, so that's the main point of what I'm going to of what today's lesson is about. Okay, more concrete from what we discussed is that these are the examples of stating strategy. The all of this, there are many actually, there are many teaching strategies, and you can just Google or you can just ask AI for particular teaching strategies. But these are the most, I think that the most common ones, not to say the most popular, but these are the most common ones. For adult learners, we already discussed, because there's the standard discussion in this course, right? So mostly we talk about processing instruction, focus on form, but most of them are usually contextualized within adult learners' language learning process. But now we are going to focus on the left side, that is for young learners. For young learners, we usually implement particular strategy that involves more actions, more active physical movements, like TPR, total physical response. You should remember TPR from the previous coursework, from the previous course, like foreign language teaching strategies, when we talk about there are many methods and also techniques that can be implemented, and one of them is TPR. Yeah, I hope that you still remember the discussion from the previous course, right? And the other one is listen and do games, story-based learning, and picture-supported input, picture sequencing, listening, and matching activities. Of course, we can discuss in more detail about these strategies, but I don't think that it is necessary because of the time limitations. So let's just jump into the last one. Okay, for the time being, I want you to consider these strategies, the strategies for teaching young learners based on the common knowledge. All right, like TPR, listen and do game, and so on. All right, here is the last material for today. A question for discussion. Okay. As I already mentioned, that we are going to focus on the left side. That is the teaching of second or foreign language for young learners. Imagine a scenario where you are a teacher. An English teacher teaches English to grade 4 students. Yeah, all right. Grade 4 student. Grade 4 meaning that elementary or primary school students. And their characteristics are as follows. The first is that in terms of age, they are 10 or 11 years old, and their proficiency level is still beginner. And usually, as common to young learners, they can get easily distracted. And the last one, they enjoy movement or they are physically active. Now, considering these characteristics, any one of you, please raise your hand. Which instructional strategy would you choose? Okay, I think that Septian is going to say something about this. But hang on. Before you say, others, please pay attention to what Septian has to say. And I want any one of you to also give some, perhaps, response to what he has to say. Okay, Asep, what do you think?
Okay. In my opinion, the best teaching strategy that suitable for handling this type of characteristic should be picture-supported input, sir.
Okay, should the picture supported input? Okay, why?
Yes. Okay. So in general knowledge, when we talk about handling fourth grade students, we need to understand that the students are the new learners that learn everything visually.
Oh,
So if we put this picture
mhm,
as the representative of learning new language, the students, fourth grade students, so to speak, will
mhm,
able to interpret the meaning without even have to translate it,
yes.
without having to deal with the translation process.
Okay.
In terms of like writings or reading or something, they just have to understand what this picture means. Like
Okay.
that, sir.
All right. Okay. That's good. That's good one. Well, yes. Okay. The strategy that you choose makes sense because considering the learner's cognitive abilities, they are usually more, I don't know, more adept to concrete materials like pictures, and they are also interested in the stories, right, which have concrete pictures that can also help them get the meaning of the story without really bothering themselves asking or opening dictionary for that. All right, okay. Okay, but you may still add some more ideas about it, I'm sure. Yeah, but that's okay for now. Okay, now before we end this meeting, because the time is running up. One more volunteer. Anyone? Raise your hand. Except Anissa, because Anissa is still having trouble with the microphone. Okay. Cindy, how about you? Fadila? Okay, Rehan. Go ahead, Rehan. You can now
Okay.
turn on your microphone. Okay. There you are. Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Rehan.
I think total physical response
TPR. Okay.
is TPR
Mhm.
because total physical response is effective for young beginner learners because it combines listening with physical movement. So
Okay.
students learn new vocabulary and comments by responding with actions, which keeps them engaged and helps them remember the language more easily.
Okay. All right, okay, Raihan, that's quite clear. Yes, total physical response is usually, well, is still implemented until now because it is found to be effective to help young learners in learning second or foreign language. One reason is because it helps them connect the meaning from what is said, that is the input, through physical actions, right? So they can connect language models of language use with their meaning through language, through physical movements. Yes. Okay, thank you everyone for your participations and for your comments or ideas that are shared throughout the process of this instruction. Hope you all have a good days for today. I really appreciate your help for participating in this instruction. See you again, inshallah, soon. That's it for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Thank you, sir.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.